Hi, this video is going to show you how to use the Speedgrader to collect data for campus-wide outcomes assessment. In order to do that, you will have had to already have imported the campus-wide outcomes to your course and applied those campus-wide outcomes through a rubric to an assignment in your course. If you've not already done those things, you'll need to go back and complete them before you can use the Speedgrader to collect the data. When you're ready to use the Speedgrader to collect data, you'll want to go to the assignments that you've associated with the campus-wide outcomes. If you do this in advance in your course design, you'll be able to complete the data collection as a part of your normal grading. When you open the Speedgrader, you will see your students and the assignments they've submitted and the rubric that you've created. I've already opened my Speedgrader for a couple of items for the purposes of this video so as to protect student data. So I'm going to click on those now, but normally you would just click this button and your Speedgrader will pop open. So this is the Speedgrader rubric for the test student on an assignment in my course. Obviously the test student didn't submit anything, but if they had, I would read what they'd submitted and then assess it based on my rubric. So you have your own rubric criteria that you might have entered or not, depending on how you chose to set this up. And then you have the campus-wide outcome that you've associated. You want to make a choice about the association of the campus-wide outcome for this student's work that makes the most sense to you. So obviously these are long descriptions of what is possible, and not in every case will each of these items apply. Depending on the assignment that you're looking at, you want to pick the best fit for this student and their work. So again, I don't have an example here for this test student, so it's obviously below expectations. And then you'll hit save. And then you can forward on to the next student and do the same thing there. This is another example. Again, I have the Speedgrader open for this assignment. I can use it to grade the assignment. You'll note that this assignment is out of 10 points. And a selection that I make for the campus-wide outcome doesn't affect the overall point score because I imported it and aligned it with the rubric in such a way that it won't impact the score of the student. This is something you can do in Canvas even if you are working off of paper assignments or you are working off performance assignments where the student might not necessarily submit anything. This is still a way that you can capture data for campus-wide assessment. You just have to do it such that you're looking at the assignment or looking at the work that the student created and capturing your assessment of their critical thinking or writing on that particular piece in Canvas here. When you use these rubrics that have the imported outcomes associated, that data is collected at an administrative level so that it can be pulled down at a later date and assessed. The assessments are not used to assess you or the students individually. The group that looks at that data will be looking at it from a very broad scope across the campus. But all you have to do in order to help is include these outcomes as a part of your rubric and your grading in your courses, or your assessment in your courses, and go through the data collection that you've just seen here in the Speedgrader. Other videos will discuss a little bit more about how you might apply this to your specific area, especially because these rubrics are very broad. So figuring out what works best for you is going to be part of the challenge, but I have no doubt that you will be able to do so. Thanks.